Greetings, humans. I'm Ande. And I'm George. And welcome back to the Windmill full of corpses. Today we are having a look at Black Crown Initiate with Belie the Machine. This is a suggestion from ShadowWalker97. Thank you very much for your suggestion and your support. A little bit about the band. I've heard them before. I've heard their last album. I just heard a few singles, actually. And I think it's like Opeth Goes Tech Death. Yes, I actually... Back when I heard the band the first time, I was thinking it has so many technical death metal components, but it's a lot more sort of mature and tame all at the same time. And I actually said it's like if the average technical death metal band went to therapy, you would get Black Crown Initiate.
Yeah, it's more controlled.
Yes.
It's still brutal, but it's more... Like, tech death often gets hectic. It gets all over the place. And, well, their songs felt like they just have a really... well-defined direction, I guess.
Yes. Okay, so the album I know is
Last one.
It's
What's
called
his name?
Violent Portraits of Doomed Escape. That's a mouthful.
It's
And
also sick.
They had two before that, and this is from one of those. I don't know which one. It's a 9-minute track, so we should stop talking. Link to the original video, of course, will be in the description if you want to go check that out. And let's get some therapeutic tech death. Belie the Machine. Okay, you're gonna do a lot of things, so I'm never gonna find a good time to pause. That was a lot already.
I love it.
It threw me back a bit to, I think it was called Holy Silence from the new album. Kind of starting with the clean guitars and then bringing in the bass. And I kind of like that the bass is a little bit overpowering the guitars almost when they're clean.
I mean, in the intro, I had this feeling kind of like the way the drums kicked off and the guitars had this raw, gritty, blackened effect that was like really, I don't know how to call it, thin sound.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the bass came in and the kicks on the drums, it all went like opened up the sound. It got a lot bigger.
Yeah, they have this feeling kind of like a tidal wave every time they do one of these punches into the heavy stuff. They don't do it suddenly. It always kind of builds up.
Yeah, and then when the riff hit, like, my God, I love this sort of galloping. Especially when it's got such a sick pace.
It's a long song, so we got a fair bit more to go. Should we?
That's a lot.
Oh,
I'm kind
boy.
of getting lost in this track by now. There's so much going on, and it's hard to keep track of everything.
Yes, but you get hooks. You get sections that immediately stick to mind. You don't get that in technical death metal. Like the drilling riff. That one also kind of reminds me of I don't remember if it was Son of War or Son of War from the new album.
Yeah.
I'll probably put the texts here so that you can tell what the difference between those is. I also want to go back to the intro for a bit where we had those. I forgot to comment on the like chopping drums and all the cymbal playing. That was also really cool. And of course, the clean section is another hook. So these two, I would say, are kind of the main pillars of the song, that drilling main riff and the clean part.
I mean, it sounded kind of like we had the drilling being the verses and the clean part being the choruses, and we've had verse, chorus, verse, chorus. So now I'm expecting it's again gonna start doing things we don't see coming.
Well, there were also a lot of dynamics shoved in between, but
I also want to say it got pretty progressive. It's got the syncopated effect, like it has a steady pace that you can follow, but it falls off beat here and there.
Yeah,
that's
I like
really
that.
satisfying for me.
They do a lot of the technical and progressive death metal sort of, what would you even call them? Patterns. With all the noodly riffs and like bass moving up and stuff like that.
Bass.
But everything's kept in a solid groove that just has you doing that.
Yeah.
And looking awkward on camera.
Speaking of which, let's keep going. Okay, I'm hearing Neo Obliviscaris. The bass with the clean guitar part was like Neo Obliviscaris' like atmospheric parts.
Yeah.
Except it lacked the violin.
It worked for this build-up, kind of like the interlude of Intravenous.
Yeah, a little. And then on the drums, especially on the blast beats, I'm hearing Rivers of Nile.
I don't know Rivers of Nile well enough. I only know the Silent Life from them. If you want us to check out Rivers of Nile that isn't the Silent Life,
preferably not from their latest album. I heard that one. I heard Where Owls Know My Name. From previous Rivers of Nile album, if you have suggestions, drop them below. Anyway, that like really brutal, battering blast beat sound, that's typical Rivers of Nile. And I love what he's been doing with the drums here, that the pace is steady, but the alternation between kicks, blasting, grooving, kicks, blasting, grooving, kicks, blasting, grooving, and you don't know which one comes next. Oh, I love it.
Yes, I was gonna say since the last time we paused it, the drums are what's really, really selling me. This drummer is incredibly resilient.
Resilient and versatile.
Yeah.
Like he's not just keeping endurance, but he's also changing it a lot.
Yeah, and you also have a lot of like these where he settles into a more mid-paced groove and then throwing some triggers in there.
Yeah, that's a tricky thing to pull off, and the vocals again are unbelievably good.
I'd say
those lows, those are like, I don't know, Michael Lagerfeld going down into like deathcore level low. That's what it sounds to me like. It has a lot of Michael Lagerfeld tone, but I don't know, I feel it's maybe even more brutal, like lower.
I'm trying to lay low on the Opeth comparatives because when the album was released, I know they were posting on social media that why does everyone say we sound like Opeth?
I mean, I don't think they sound like Opeth. I think they draw from Opeth.
This is gonna be a long video, so let's hope they don't get bored. We have 2 minutes left. Can we?
Let's push through it.
Why do y'all gotta fade out?
Yeah, that's literally my only complaint with this song is there's nothing more anticlimactic than having a riff as brutal as that and then just fading it out.
I didn't think it was that brutal also coming out of the solo. I like what they did with the solo. This is not a technical death metal typical thing to do. They brought the solo in on the harmonious chill part and they made it kind of into something beautiful and changed the tone of the song towards the end, whereas solos are where you can usually pull off the greatest amount of extremity in technical death metal.
Yeah, but let's face it, the last thing this song needed was more extremity. Because it was like an onslaught all the way through, I guess.
Yeah, and then you have kind of like a sunrise, a dim sunrise at the end. That was really beautiful.
I don't know if it was a dim sunrise. For me, it was all pretty dark, like with the like grim corpse-like imagery and I don't know, it had more like a weeping tone to me in some sense. So
yeah. And Thought, since you mentioned the cover artwork, completely unrelated band, but this cover artwork on the screen reminds me of that from Om by Negura Bunjet.
Probably a little. I don't remember that one very well, but it has the same texture colors.
Yes.
Stuff. That's cool.
I think we said enough. I said enough.
Incredible song.
Yeah.
I love this. Thank you. What was it? Shadow Walker 97.
Shadow Walker 97, yes.
Drop us more suggestions. Thank you.
We'll get to them eventually.
When we get to them, yeah. But drop them. Be sure to drop them. Incredible song. I love it. Of course, let us know if you enjoyed the song. And if you enjoyed our video, we greatly appreciate the likes and shares. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe with bells on.
Thank you very much for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed your stay, and we'd love to see you back at the Windmill very soon. Corpse is out.